Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Discovery Freelancer podcast with me, Spazzy, and today, following the episode from 2 days ago about the Tau systems, their history, all the factions involved, today I'm actually joined by 4 other people, and apart from Burak and Summer McLovin, I'm also joined here by Irwin and Kyvern. Kevin.
Kyron
will do, I think.
Well...
Yeah.
Okay, so before we begin, as it's traditional, let's start with Irvikins. Tell us about yourself. When did you join Disco? What do you do? And so forth.
So, I've been playing Discovery since 2008, off and on. My first faction was Outcast. I've been in a number of various factions that have been involved throughout the Taus. Gallic factions, Bretonnian factions. I was in a few IMG-aligned factions for a little while, and namely Outcasts, and I'm still playing an Outcast faction today, so yeah.
And what's your favorite faction out there?
Honestly, I love the Outcasts, just from a roleplay perspective and from a player perspective.
Well, then fair enough. And as I understand, you also made a recent group, right?
Yeah, I run the Kantari Lance, which is a really active, piracy, combat, and smuggling Outcast faction. Basically, anything that the Outcasts can do, we do it.
Well, fair enough. So, we will touch on that exact faction a bit later, when we're going through the list. And then we have Kyvern. What about you?
Yeah, hi, I'm Kyron. I'm great. What's up? I first came to Discovery in, sometime in 2007. At that time, I was playing on the Void server, and it was down for a week for some silly reason.
Sorry
Things like
about that.
Happened a lot. And so I heard about this Discovery mod, which was, like, probably the second most popular, after Void at that time, based on just how much I heard about it. And so I came to, Discovery for about a week, to test it out. And all I remember from my time period then was that you didn't have to roleplay in New York. There was a planet where if you where you couldn't dock from it because the docking ring was misplaced to be inside the atmosphere. And there was some guy called Jack Starmule who had like a luxury liner, and I was really amazed by the fact that Discovery had luxury liners.
Well, at least it was a better start than I did.
Yeah, that guy is actually the reason that I'm here now, because as soon as the Void came back up, I never thought about Discovery again until about 2009 when I reinstalled Freelancer, and I was thinking, what's a good mod to play? Well, the Void isn't around anymore. Oh, I remember Discovery. So the first thing I did is I made an IMG character and went into the Taws, and I joined the ICMG. I've been on and off ever since then.
Good man. The only thing I remember about my first days on Disco was that I undocked and I instantly rammed myself into a bounty hunter destroyer who was parked next to the docking ring and died.
Classic Spazzy. You rammed him in. That sounds about it.
Good job, Spazzy.
Yeah. Okay, so shall we start it? So today we're going to quickly touch on all of the player factions that are, well, pretty much involved in the Tau region. So this includes neutral, neutral pirates, lawful factions, old and new, and let's just start with Burak because he's the oldest guy here. So let's just start with the CR.
The CR, right? Would have rather start with the IMG, but okay.
Well, the
Actually,
CR more interesting.
We did spend
they're
most
more
of the last
interesting.
episode talking about the CR.
Yeah, but the thing is, the CR is really connected to the IMG, so I'd be more, comfortable starting from the IMG.
Well then, go for the IMG.
Okay, so the IMG, they're basically like the biggest faction in the Taus. They mine, obviously. They mine, make money, trade, and all that stuff. With the mining mod, they got more rich, and they're like the starting faction in the Taus because no one ever, as far as I know, no one actually did much in the Taus except for the IMG. Their faction diplomacy, as far as I've seen, has always been, trying to be friendly in a bit more business-like matter, trying to make more money, and not to get hostile to someone. And
I actually remember they interacted a lot with the zoners and junkers at the time.
yeah, a lot. The Junker Congress has had lots of interaction with the IMG and the CR, as you know, lawfuls in the area. So yeah, the IMG has always been like that neutral party, you know. But their main problem was always, and always probably will be, the outcast, which are just want to kill them. I mean, they don't want to do business or anything, just kill them.
Well,
So, yeah,
they
the
did come on the territory, and then it's obviously a bad move.
Well, yeah, but that's how the lore goes. So yeah, the IMG is basically the biggest faction.
But have the IMG ever tried to, you know, sort of get friendly with the outcasts? I mean, if you're sitting next to one of the largest pirate houses, almost, then I mean, didn't they have any ideas about, you know, improving their relationships with the outcasts?
Well, on a few specific interactions, there have been some dealings between outcasts and IMG, but nothing that would ever reflect on major faction diplomacy, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, individual characters, I've noticed, do actually surprisingly often will, like, an individual IMG character or an individual OC befriend, like, one of their enemies. In fact, my own IMG character, Kubazenon, became close friends with the leader of the XTF, Zaza, when that player still played.
I actually remember the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, my IMG, I had a favour by your CL, fortunately, because you let me buy some pirate ore or something.
Yeah.
And I pretty much built you an engine for the CL battleship.
But yeah, in general, the IMG I've seen them try as a faction to get, you know, a bit neutral with the outcast. It has never worked. I mean, the outcast just killed them the day next.
So basically, the IMG right now is shoot rocks, shoot outcasts, get money.
Yeah, and they've always tried to go against the outcast, but they were more focused on, you know, making money, you know, mining and shit.
Yeah. Even just
Then-
now, it's not
Yeah.
really attacking.
The IMG has always been like that. And then that's where the CR comes into play. The CR was like the version of IMG that shot everything to pieces. Basically, the Tau police.
We're the military. Like,
And-
THC has the RM on their side.
Yeah, pretty much like that. Pretty much, yeah. The CR first
To make
came.
up for them.
The CR, like, compared to the IMG, I mean, they're both on the same side, and they have always been allied when the CR first came into the Taos. The CR first, of course, tried to be the IMG. They were using the IMG tag and ID, I believe, at first before they had their own stuff. And they, you know, mined and all of that until they became the CR that everyone knows today, you know, just killing outcasts. They became the Tau police, basically.
But what about the CR roleplay in general? As I understand, they are sort of imports, aren't they?
Well, it's
They were
important because
originally
the CR,
BSG.
yeah.
They
were
started
originally-
off as an import, but since then their roleplay has really grown to become an integral part of Discovery history, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
they've been
I
around
mean, they
for
started
years
off
and
with a BSG tag.
Yeah, you know what sucks? I never actually watched Battlestar Galactica.
you should.
Neither have I.
I recently
I
watched
watched
it
the
again.
first episode and a half of the new season. It was really good, but I never got around to watching more.
Well, then basically,
Interesting.
if you want to know more about the CR, watch Battlestar Galactica.
Kind of.
But yeah, they were all like, you know, BSG fans, and they just made a faction, and then it became the CR. That's how it all started. Fun fact: my first day on Discovery, the first guy I PM'd was a BSG, but he never replied to me.
Oh,
Yeah, that was kind of sad.
oh,
Yeah.
so it's going
Forever
to,
long
so that's going to turn out. Okay, you dick, you didn't reply to me. Okay, don't worry. One day I'm
Fine.
gonna be leading your fucking faction. Then you'll be sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna join your faction and make you my bitch.
That
So, yeah,
sort of
that's how-
sounds like Burak.
So CR diplomacy was basically, if you're messing with us, you're going to die. I mean, there's no business-like matter or tone in it. It's just you're going to die. Especially
like-
when,
They were like the IMG, but crazy.
yeah, pretty much.
It's a militarized IMG. But recently, lately, what exactly happened to the CR? Why did they disband? And most importantly, why suddenly all of the usual IMG caps, like we had the battleship, or what was its name? I forgot.
The Zephyr.
Yeah,
the carrier.
and it suddenly all turned into CR tech.
Well, the thing is,
Well, it was all
actually
originally designed by
Yeah.
CR. Because
Yeah.
was
we
designed
had,
by.
It has to do with like the actual story of it, because like the story of the CR is that they come from a place called Crater, and there they had like they had a society like not all that different from Sirius as it is today, and so they needed to develop weaponry and whatnot there as well. But and so the current CR line, the former IMG line, is they developed. It's based off of the technology that they developed in Crater when they arrived in the Tals with the IMG.
Much.
They like the IMG helped them expand on that technology and gave them the resources to build it, and then the CR built it all. So it's really CR tech.
yeah, they didn't come into the Taus straight away. They actually arrived in Omega.
Yeah, actually, that is a question I wanted to ask. What exactly brought the IMG and the CR together like that?
Britonia.
I
pretty
can,
much.
yeah.
Yeah, sure.
It was
Originally-
mutual animosity.
Originally
towards
came
Plutonium.
into the came into the Omegas and lived in Britonia for a few years. This was all before like anything in game. I'm fairly sure.
Yeah, it's
then,
the roleplay lore.
Yeah. Then I've been like reading it and stuff. So yeah. And I'm gonna rewrite some of it at some point. But after that, yeah.
Sure, change your lore.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it was Britonia. They started working for Britonia when they came from Crater, and then after a while, Britonia, the civilian population, just was like, no, we don't want them to work here.
Yeah,
They're stealing
go
our
away,
jobs,
that's
basically.
foreigners.
Yeah.
Basically, they were
And
all
then-
in planet form, and then there
Yeah.
was like confusion over whether it was the CR or planet form who was not violating their contract. But either way, it ended up with all of the colonials in Britonia basically just getting together on shuttles and saying "fuck this shit," because there were riots and people were like murdering them, and people were being like,
Rabble.
yeah, pretty much.
So they kicked them out, and then the colonials banded together and went into the Tals where the IMG accepted them and helped them out.
At that time,
And
the
they-
IMG
yeah.
was not very friendly with Britonia at all, so they
Pretty
were
much.
never.
Which
they were
that continued. The unfriendliness with Britonia continued when the CR actually became a faction and became active. The CR was
it's an
basically
old war.
hostile with Britonia. There was a war. That was like after that. That was the time when I actually joined the CR and started doing shit.
So wait, where do the KNF come in then?
The
Well,
KNF
there
have-
was the war with Britonia
Oh,
and
yeah.
Kasari. That's when things started heating up.
Basically, the KNF and Kasari in general didn't have much of an influence in the Tals because I don't know why.
I think they had their own problems.
Well, yeah, that too. Plus, they were maybe a bit too lazy to jump one system. They never really did.
I don't know.
Anything-
Yar sort of didn't have any problems
that
jumping
guy-
back and forth.
Yeah, there was some factions that just hated the factions in the Tals, the IMG, the CR, the Outcast, whatever, and made factions to kill those people pretty much and just to fuck with people. So, yeah, returning to the CR diplomacy, it was more like hostile against people. If you try to mess with them, they just ganked you pretty much and killed you. And then
That's
yeah,
an interesting
CR.
foreign policy. You come from
Oh,
a
yeah,
distant land, you visit a distant land, and basically it will be like here in Latvia. There's like some sort of British students who come to Latvia and then they try to piss on the Monument of Freedom. So that would be like the same, but only if you try to do something about it, they smash your face in.
Yeah, kind of like that actually. Yeah, and the thing about the CR High Command, when I was in the High Command, everyone had like different ideas, and no one wanted to do the same thing. But of course, the same idea was kill our enemies, don't have anyone mess with us. For example, we had Rami, who was the guy that he was calm, neutral about things, right? He was thinking on things before doing them, and then there was Panzer who
Kill
Not
everything.
think of things before.
He-
Exact
he was-
opposite.
He was
Not
Discovery's
exactly.
von Bismarck, but less tactical. He was
Yeah,
he was
but-
was the man of iron and blood and nixes.
Yeah, he wanted that. He wanted
Iron
his empire
and
to be
blood
made.
and nixes.
And then
Yes, that is Panzer.
Wow.
That's pretty much Panzer, though. And then there was Pavel, who is like the cap horde, one of our best cap players. She didn't give much of a shit except killing stuff. And then there was some other like crossbow, and they were more into diplomacy and trading and all that stuff. And then there was me, who I had all these freak ideas. Anyone who messed with us would be ganged to death and all that stuff.
So, speaking of gangs, what was your policy about using overwhelming forces to,
Overwhelming force to defeat
What
your
I've heard,
enemies.
that was how the CR worked.
Yeah.
That's their base idea, because the thing is, like I said on the last podcast, the most used ship in the Tals was the Outcast Dreadnought.
And you use the Nixes.
We used the Nixes at
Yep.
first, like lots of Nixes, 10 more Nixes against Dreadnought, and then that just pretty much went parallel to
Holy
anything
shit.
else. Yeah, I
don't think
they brought-
anyone has any confusion as to the CR's policy towards
Oh, yeah.
ganking.
If you mess with
That's-
the ganked.
Yeah, that is probably their legacy. The fact that, old CR ganked. New players and old players, everyone knows it.
Pretty much.
And
That
I
was
don't think
why-
anyone
Yeah,
ever
that's
really
trying to
complained
get away
about
from
it.
The old like
Love or
Oh.
hate.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got used to it pretty much. That's how CR became the dominant power in the Tals. I mean, if you try to mess with them, you're gonna get ganked.
Yeah.
That's-
See,
that's
in
the
that way, CR.
Don't die on us.
I would like to not. In that way, CR's legacy sort of really impacted the Tals, because even after the CR disbanded, I noticed that most of the interactions in the Tals tended to be sort of skewed towards one side or the other, even if it was in an RP sense. Like one side would happen to have like just more people on hand, no matter what was going on. The Tals definitely became, largely thanks to the CR, mostly even a ganker be ganked environment.
Yeah,
And-
that's something that I noticed when I first joined IMG. Like, we were pretty bad at PvP at the time. We weren't winning anything, but it was okay because we were just making money elsewhere or quickly running through the
Oh yeah,
towns.
the IMG has, they make money everywhere. The Omegas,
Yeah,
not
yep.
just the Tals, the Omegas are everywhere pretty much.
Yeah, the
Um,
Omegas is fairly.
Actually, a quick question, so we sort of rounded up about CR, otherwise we're going to stay
Yeah.
here for all night. What led to the downfall of the old CR, and what led to the uprise of the new CR?
The downfall was basically, like in every faction, there's always times when people are inactive, the leadership doesn't give a fuck,
Obviously.
and then, it just goes to hell. But then it returns, people get active again, people start doing shit, and...
So pretty
you
much
have
what is
to-
happening with the Rainlanders right now.
With any faction, really. Every faction has this. And then, in the end, people got tired of it, I believe. The High Command had a vote, which, if we were going to disband or not. And the majority voted yes, which I got really mad at, because I voted no. We could have still done stuff.
Basically,
I
the
think-
rest of the CR just didn't want to beat the dead horse any longer. They figured it was time to move on.
Yeah, I still think this, I should have cooped, taken over the faction, just kicked out the rest of the High Command.
Just sat there
And
alone in
continue-
your Nix.
Well, no, there was some members
sat there
who
in
wanted
the
to
Sovereign
continue
one.
CR.
Okay then,
So, yeah,
so that's so much about the CR, but what about the new one? Is there any...
if Soul Reaper had decided to coup and take over things, then I guess things would be different. I don't know. I wouldn't have been.
I mean,
seeing
are there any
updates
changes in the
stuff and turn up.
roleplay, or...
Yeah, we're a lot more towards the civilian side. At least towards the end. I'm not really sure how much that worked. But I think since we don't have enough people to gank, or we don't have the skill compared to all these sabers with their silly hitboxes and all this.
No matter what they do
No,
with the
not
Saber
even
hitbox,
hacking.
nobody's
Just I
gonna be
mean,
happy.
saber just doesn't work. So yeah, we can't always win. So we've decided to have fun in other ways rather than just gank everything and win. So
New
it's
se-
been a
Well, didn't
yeah,
you
it's
think
been-
about
seemed to be a
expanding?
bit nicer.
Like, get out of the towels?
Well, the Taos has been the colonial home. I mean, unless we're going to sit in Coronado and invade Liberty or something like that. It'd be kind of silly.
Well,
yeah,
did you notice that lately there has been an increase in the price for Cardamine, for example? You could have easily just blocked off Coronado.
Yeah, well, I've caught a couple of smugglers there, but yeah, generally you can kind of get through, especially if your Firefly has a cloak. I've seen. That's a few of the factions now.
No, fair enough. Okay, so let's move on from that. Let's move on to the other side of the globe. Well, not exactly the globe, but the other side of the course. What about the Outcasts? What can you say about all of the old Outcast factions?
Well, there are a lot of old Outcast factions, and there are a lot of new Outcast factions. Probably there's only one that everyone here still knows about, and that would be the 101st.
And the SOBs.
Well, honestly, their legacy has sort of died out, which is something that's greatly disappointed me. Kantari Lance is sort of building something in a similar vein, though with a bit less cartel-style influences. We don't quite do as much smuggling or piracy, but they pretty much covered all of the Outcasts' roleplay that the 101st didn't. And as most of you probably know, the 101st, since its inception, has primarily focused on being the military aspect of the Outcasts.
The hardcore military, the elite guys that just killed everything, which they were. They had really good PvPers and all that back then.
So just saying back then, like 101st versus IMG and the CR, who came out on the top?
I think probably the CR came out on top most of the time, simply due to numerical superiority. But in the rare times there were fair fights, probably the Outcasts would come out on top.
The 101st generally had us beaten on single combat because they had better PvP players than us.
Yeah, their ships as well.
Yeah, their ships as well. The CR were good in group fights. I mean, not just numbers yet. Even if you have numbers, you have to know what to shoot or how to shoot. It's different. Group fight is different than solo fighting. So yeah, the Outcast pretty much took us down on 1v1s and all that. But
I actually think that there is a reason for that, and I mean, I played Outcasts for a very long time. And basically, what we did all the time was just make 1 versus 1 duels around Manhattan. Malta.
Yeah, I know of that.
So, and the CR and the IMG got all of their PvP combat trying to gank one of the Rancy wars that usually wandered in. So, naturally, they became better with group fighting, and the Outcasts stuck to 1 versus 1.
It also depends on which Outcasts you're talking about. Like, there's Outcasts, and then there's the 101st.
Yeah.
If you're talking about the first, they were really good PvPers, but Outcasts in general were not.
Well, no, obviously.
Back then, probably the major thing that contributed towards 101st skill level, as Spazzy was saying, was probably things like the duels that Outcasts would often have in front of Malta. The CR didn't really have a zone that was as secure or as accessible, and back then, as you all probably know, it took a very long time to get to Connecticut. So the CR had most of CR's interactions were real.
Pretty much.
That's probably the difference.
Yeah. Every time I logged onto my Outcast and went to Malta, there was always at least 4 people dueling, not 2v2, just 1v1 v1 all the time.
Yeah. There was always someone sitting outside of Malta, either jousting someone or saying, "Hey, want to joust?" Everyone that comes around.
Yeah.
And on that note, there was also always at that time there was always someone in the mining fields in T23. There was always at least one miner on all the time. I guarantee it. Actually, speaking of, maybe this would be a good time to start talking about the ICMG.
Yeah, actually, we didn't even mention the poor guys last time.
Thanks, asshole.
Well, well, hey, that is
people
that
over
is the
there.
primary reason why we're doing episode
Actually,
2.
I gotta say that, Kai. I mean, I pretty much said that we forgot the ICMG.
Like, the moment we stopped recording, we was like, oh shit, dude, we forgot about the CCCP and the ICMG. I was like,
Yeah,
fuck.
how'd you forget about either of those? Like, those made big impacts.
Yeah,
Because
well,
they're
Yeah,
dead
they
shit
did.
files now.
well, we are going to get to them in a moment. So, shall we?
Anyway.
Well, since we're talking about the, other sides, Outcasts, we have the BLS, for example. What about those? The Ross?
Make it
They're the
smart.
same. It was the same faction as the Shadow Outcast Brigade for a while, wasn't it? It was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the
BLS
They
turned
changed their name.
yeah.
But the Blue
Honestly,
BLS, while they were the BLS, they just smuggled. I mean, that's what I've seen. They mostly just smuggled until they became the SOB, which they did start doing more stuff.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But they died too.
I actually remember
died.
that the BLS sort of came a bit later, or at least they had their activity rise a bit later after the SOB one declined.
Well, yeah, they have declines, and it's just weird. Those two factions are connected to each other.
So, what about the Reapers of Sirius?
The Reapers of Sirius. They started as outcasts. I love their lore has them as outcasts.
Just jumping
After
all
they
over the
turned
place.
up from Sol, yeah.
After
were
they
another
turned up Soul.
seven.
And
Their lore has
they-
always been weird to me.
They turned up from Seoul, and I believe they came across the Outcast first, and they figured that aligning themselves with the Outcast would be the best at the start because A, they didn't know who else was in Sirius at the time, and B, they figured that, they looked at the Outcasts and figured they would be the best to help them achieve their goals of killing
Wasn't that basically the? I should stop using that word. I'm using it way too much these days. Isn't that the roleplay of the Phantom Empire?
No, the Phantoms didn't come from Soul.
No,
at
no.
all.
I
The
mean,
Phantoms-
they allied with the Outcasts. Thought that they were probably going to be.
Oh no, they weren't allies.
No, they were. They didn't
Originally,
shoot each
they
other.
allied with the Outcasts, though. Like that in their lore. That
They allied
that's-
with the Unlawfuls, basically.
Yeah, I
they
wouldn't
depended
call that
on the
an
Unlawfuls
alliance.
for their supplies.
I wouldn't
The
call them
Phantoms don't even really exist anymore, and as far as I'm aware, most of their lore and whatnot has been retconned.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, pretty much. They
Including the
virus
Slipstream.
suspended. Slipstream.
Slipstream.
I like the Shadow more though. Screw the
Dude,
Slipstream.
remember when the Ravenclaw had 2 thrusters?
Remember when the Ravenclaw was actually like an LSF ship?
Yeah, the LSF stealth ship.
Yeah,
Remember when ships were ugly? Like, seriously, quit dwelling on that, guys. The Ravenclaw was hideous.
Yeah, but
I-
the Slipstream was
Bro,
awesome.
Get out. Get out.
The
get out.
Slipstream was hideous.
Your mom was hideous. Okay, let's just.
Yeah,
move
that's
on.
true.
Okay, shout out to Irvin's mom. I hope you're not watching
Alright.
this. And before
Alright.
Irvin gets grounded. So, what about? Well, since we touched the subject about the CCCP, so what about those guys and Galaxy in
Well,
general?
As a longtime Gallic player, I sort of witnessed the
You
creation.
can't be a long-time Gallic player. Gallia isn't really that old.
All right, whatever.
You're new, bro.
I played Gallia in 4.85, so you shut your whore mouths.
Oh my.
Anyways,
Fine, be a bitch.
I sort of witnessed the birth, the creation, and the failure of the CCCP.
Did you Instagram it?
Huh?
Nothing.
Alright. Anyways, most of them seem to be pretty nice guys, but they didn't speak English. They caused a lot of havoc in the Taus and the Northern Omicrons.
They-
and
Yeah, everyone hated them for that.
actually, I never had a problem with the CCCP.
You never had it, but most
You,
people.
you don't
were
have
on
problem
their
with
side.
anyone.
That would be
You're,
Yeah,
you're a
most
fucking
people
pacifist.
in the
I'm
towers
not
had.
pacifist.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, well, you know what? Excuse me for being nice.
Yeah, well, we're
Yeah,
not
not
going
bad.
to excuse you, so fuck you. So what about the CCCP?
Everyone hated them, except Irwin, obviously.
Obviously.
Their forum roleplay, their in-game non-existent roleplay, everyone just started hating them. I mean, it came to a point where I remember in Tau 37, Nomads, Outcasts, CR, IMG, and Order got together in a group. I have pictures. I'll probably post them after this podcast.
Yeah, I'll add them.
Just went.
I was
against-
there on my GRP. We got Shrek'd. That's all I'm gonna say.
Went against the CCCP, like a huge fleet. We had ducks. We had Marduks on our side.
Wow. Well, that's an instant win.
Actually, as a GRP, we didn't get Shrek'd. We flew right on by. Like, you guys got into a fight with the CCCP, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna help you guys. And we all flew past the fight into Omicron Alpha.
Oh yeah, that was the problem. The
Oh
GRP
my.
went to Omicron Alpha for some reason. I don't even know.
Oh, what?
Why?
Speaking about going to Omicron Alpha, at some point I distinctly remember this. That remember when I don't remember when the change was, but at some point bounty hunter IDs, or was it the core IDs, weren't allowed in Alpha, and
Oh, I remember
around
that.
the same time, suddenly CR and IMG weren't allowed as well. And for some reason, you guys still went there. Was it a de facto, like?
It was against the rules, but nobody really cared enough
Yeah,
to
I sort of
sanction.
noticed that.
Like,
IMG, CR, and the bounty hunters just went into Alpha, just raid them, and then the rule came, and then the IMG was like, yeah, I don't want to go, and all that, and then the Edge just didn't de-edge that. The Edge. Well, we can talk about them, I guess. The
Yeah, I
bounty
can talk
hunter-
about Edge.
Yeah,
Edge
they were-
was a bounty hunter faction, but Edge originally actually grew out of disgruntled ICMG members, because basically the ICMG was it was declining at this period, and this was like the start of the ICMG's decline, and some of us people in Edge, it was Feldspar, Equinox, and me were the first three. We said, all right, we're getting tired of this. This is bullshit. On ICMG, even though it was like a really ganky environment, we still didn't like to initiate ganks because we thought it was bad form. We would always wait for them to like gank first.
And then
Babies.
keep them present.
Yeah, I know, but that was what Anne wanted us to do, so we did it because she was, the dear leader, and
yeah.
and so me, Feldspar, and Equinox said, we're tired of this. We're just going to make a group. Like, Feldspar and Equinox did the calculations and figured out that the Bottlenose was, like, one of the best gunboats for killing sabers, apparently.
Still is.
Except for the Trident.
Yeah. But that
Using
doesn't
Trident
count.
against OCs won't really work.
Well,
Well,
training
yeah.
in front of Malta, I sort of learned it that it's actually a lot more easier to like pulse razor a saber than a Nyx.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Definitely. But, so we said, alright, we're just gonna make a group that flies nothing but bottlenoses all day, every day, and we're gonna get like 5 or 8 of us, and we're just gonna go around, and all of us are gonna shoot sabers. We don't care how bad the gank is. We'll literally do 10 versus 1 if we have to. We're
That
just tired of this, and we want to make the
sort of
outcast
sounds
players feel
familiar.
bad.
He got
Every-
mad. Yeah.
That sort of sounds familiar. What we did with the Tridents.
Yeah, but we were just like, alright, so we're just gonna make bottlenoses with just all basics, and then just go around ganking sabers all day. And then that
But
was
that
what we did
didn't
for a
work
while.
out too well. You did
No.
it for a while, but then it was caps. Then just
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
Wish
yeah.
that was better.
Then,
I love
then they
that
started.
part.
Then someone brought a cap, and then after like one encounter, I believe it might have actually been with Monty, we realized, all right, these
Oh my
bottlenoses
God.
are shit against the outcast caps. So what we did is we started bringing caps, and then eventually we got bombers, and then we decided, well, hey, let's actually make some money with this because
Why not?
and so what we did is we went to the Omicrons, and then we started farming nomads there, and eventually it just became nothing but like threshers, and
Cool.
it was just like threshers and bullheads, and so we started farming nomad caps, and Feldspar was the one who did the forum roleplay. I love Feldspar to death, but he was not that great of a role player, and so what we did is he posted a thread. It's probably deleted by now. It was like a nomad jelly. This is useful for everything from sandwiches to like super glue or something. And he's like, buy nomad jelly.
Wow.
Not a single person ever responded.
Didn't even get any customers.
Hey, a quick shout out to Monty and Killer. Just
Yeah.
say.
You guys are morons, but we love you.
Uh,
I'm making a heart with my hands right now.
we have a sudden. Irvin, I
Yeah?
think it's your side. We having a echo.
Oh,
I don't hear an echo, but I can hear like static and echo. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that is Irvin.
is
I'm
that
Irwin.
better?
App. No.
How about now?
Ooh.
App. Discovery Freelancer podcast will return after a moment. We're back, sort of. We slash
Technical
Irvin.
difficulties are over.
Yep.
Alright, yeah, sorry, my fault. I get it. I'm a whore. Whatever. Continue.
Exactly.
Suck.
Anyway, Gavin, please tell us about the ICMG. We can shout
Okay.
outs about Monty and Killer a bit later.
Alright, ICMG. Originally, ICMG started as Ann and Feldspar. They were in like mid 2009. They shut up, Irwin. In mid 2009, they there was a thing where everyone would the IMG tag is IMG and then an upscore, the bar. But what people were doing then was just going around with the tag IMG dash and acting like they were members of the official faction.
Which was
So
annoying.
Yeah, I've had
Yeah.
that happen with CR as well.
And so, what Ann and Feldspar did, they were like sort of lolwuts then, and they got Zephyrs. They did the same thing. It was IMG dash and then the names of the ship, but they always had this thing at the end called the ship license numbers. It was like a bracket SL and then like two numbers, and then another
Yeah.
bracket.
I remember PMing one of them about it back when I was a lolwut, and they told me it stood for Soviet lobster.
Wow.
It
It actually did.
What?
Yeah, it did at the time.
Discovery
Yeah, it did.
Freelancer podcast, now sponsored by Soviet Lobster.
Soviet
Yes.
lobsters.
So it would be like something like this. I don't remember if that's the exact number. But it was like, or it would be IMG. It would be IMG Lazarite, and then the Soviet Lobster 36. And so what they did is eventually they got a little bit tired of that and decided what they took the Zephyrs to the Omicrons, and then they took them into Iota, which was at that time like a really big. It was like the system you didn't go to because it was it was like the big scary system, sort of. And like if you go in there, you're gonna get your shit wrecked.
Because
Sort of how everyone thought of
suddenly
it.
all the keepers log on.
Yeah. And so they took these two Zephyrs into Iota, and then just sat by Altair Research Complex, just waiting for the Keepers to show up. And then the Keepers brought their Marduk, and they wrecked it. And the Keepers brought all of their gunboats, and they wrecked them. And then
I
they just went
remember
back to the
those
Talls,
times.
like laughing at them in PMs the entire way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Woo,
so
Did they get
assholes.
sanctioned for breaking their zone of influence?
Nope. And so that's how the ICMG was formed. It grew out of that.
So
They changed the
wow.
tag to the one that everyone knows and loves.
No one
All
loves
cute
them.
and cuddly and shit.
Yeah.
No one knows it either.
Yeah, fuck off. But
Fucking hell.
so then they put the C in there, which stood for Communist, Independent Communist Miners Guild, and then the SL was moved to right after that.
So
And
which
instead of
part
being
of
a-
them were actually communist? What did they
And-
do?
And
That was more we hate the French.
We did a lot of things, like
they hated the French a lot.
Yeah. I
Uh,
know, because they ganked me.
Aww.
Here's the thing I loved about the ICMG. When the Galax came and told everyone to suck their dicks, and IMG was like, yeah, okay, sure, I'll kneel and all that shit. The ICMG did not give a shit about what the official faction said. They were like, no, fuck this. Fuck this Galax. They
Who
pretty
does?
much allied with the CR even more and,
Yeah.
helped us gank the Galax to death. Like,
Yeah, in fact, at one point there were actually multiple plans for the ICMG to merge into the CR and be like just a wing of the CR.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
None of them
Never
ever
happened.
That never happened, didn't
Two
it?
Zephyrs and things.
No, but in RP, one of the Zephyr weapon platforms stationed outside Saba is supposed to be the Malachite, which was the
I
ICMG's
don't-
military carrier.
I actually put that on a ticket for the devs, but I'm not sure they actually did it.
No, they
Welcome
didn't.
to
They're
start
just
saying
still
that.
called web platforms.
Well, I mean, this is just a reminder, but for 87 is about to go out. All they need to do is do the info cards. I think this is the last chance. You can easily join them. They're recruiting anyone who is, able to help them with info cards. So you can just, go there and ask them, guys, can I just, add that to that? Just saying.
Yeah, I actually might look into that, but
Yeah. I'll send you the contacts a bit later. Anyway, so that's pretty much what we can say about the ICMG for now, because we are sort of running late. We're at 36 minutes right now, just saying.
It's pretty good.
A bit more. I told you with the list that we have here, it's gonna take a while. So maybe this might be a two-parter. We covered Galax in the last. We covered the Galax in the last episode, so there's no need to recite that. Lol, dab, lol. Just say. But what about factions like the Reavers or the BMM?
You mean Bretonia in general?
Yeah.
Well, the one that I remember the most, other than the BMM, was the Privateers. What was their full name?
QCP at the time.
The
Queen
QCP,
Karina's
yeah.
Privateers.
They were their leader
QCP are
was
still sort of first.
Wait, they were. Wait. How were they called?
Queen
Queen
Karina.
Karina's
QCP.
Privateers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who the fuck
They
told
were
me?
led by Alvin.
Someone told me that they were a abbreviation from quite cute privateers.
Really?
Holy crap! And I actually thought that was the name up till
No,
today.
it's the Queen of
did you ever
Freelancer.
call them that in game?
Yes, I did.
Oh my god, Spazzy, I love you.
Oh my! I actually called him that on my fucking Bretonian. What's his face? Desi. And they didn't say anything about it. Holy crap! Sorry, guys. My bad.
Anyway, yeah, they were assholes. Generally, that's what I
Sort
would say
of
about.
play.
Yeah, assholes. They just shot people. I don't remember exactly what they did.
Their roleplay was they pretty much existed to be Alright, so you don't know, at the time, Kusari sort of had a firmer grasp, I'm an idiot, grasp on the Taus than Bretonia, but Bretonia still had that BMM base in Tau 23. The ICMG, or not the ICMG, the IMG preferred to work with Kusari, however, due to their problems with Bretonia. And since Bretonia and Kusari were at war, the privateers decided that they would do their best to cut off Kusarian supplies from the IMG. So they went up there and they pirated, and they killed people. Basically, anyone they thought was working against Bretonia in some way, they killed or pirated.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that was
Which
it.
is why they were
The
hostile.
main thing was to
CR.
steal supplies for Bretonia, but if you
Yeah.
could stop them going anywhere else, that's also a win. So it was
Yeah.
IMG were originally pirated until there was some sort of truce drawn up. But for a while, it was the privateers and BM fighting against
Well-
IMG and CR, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think the truce came out because the QCP couldn't use battleships. They didn't have enough numbers to log lots of bombers, so basically they got ganked by the IMG and the CR, and they couldn't
A
do
lot.
anything about it. Yeah, a lot. They every time they just logged on, suddenly CR would appear out of fucking nowhere and just
Dude,
gank
the
them.
CR had a habit of logging in every time something happened.
Here's the thing: in the CR chat, everyone was always in the chat
Yeah.
and active in the chat. So if anything happened, people were ready to log on. So
Shit, dude.
They
I
were
have
always
one of
around.
the rare screenshots that I have was back when I made that troll outcast gunboat group,
fuck yeah.
and like 6 of us just sat below Java, in a a ring, and we just sat there and no one was on, like no one was around. Like Tau 23 was empty, and it was just one of those very rare times when the CR didn't log in and try to smash our shit in. Actually, that brings me a very that reminds me of a very interesting memory. We were shooting the ICMG and the CR and the IMG, and suddenly a order recon cruiser undocked from Java.
Yes. Yes. This that
Yeah.
was.
I mean, it don't get me wrong, it died within 2 minutes, but what the fuck was up with that?
Order, bro.
No. Was it actually order or?
No, it was it wasn't an order. It was an order cruiser, but it was like a ECM.
Yeah. The ICMG had a res chef.
Yeah.
We were the only group on the server, aside from the SCRA, to ever get a res chef. Because
What about the order?
Shut the fuck up.
Irwin, go die.
Irvin, I'm going to drop you off
Irwin's
the.
your human being. But
This could be done
The
so easily.
The reason they gave us that is because we decided that instead of being like the IMG and being like really ambivalent towards the nomads, because that's what the IMG has historically tried to do, we would maintain that on the surface, but in reality we would like help the order whenever they came around fighting the nomads and stuff. And we actually roleplayed building the order a base in the empty side of T-37.
Yeah, the
and
order was around for quite a while in the towers.
Um,
They still
yeah,
are.
The
In
thing
the
is,
empty
the thing
side
about the
of
order.
T-37, there's an order base in roleplay, and so because of that, they gave us a res chef. They took out all the computers and stuff. It was just like the hull and the engines, but they
What
gave
a
us
very
res chef
shit
as
give,
thanks
because
to
that basically was the only good thing about the ship in roleplay, apart from the fucking scanner, but whatever. Actually, there was a rumor flying around. It wasn't a rumor because, well, let's just say that I knew some people who actually tried this. But the reason why the order started popping up in Tau 23 a lot was because after the implementation of the new mining mod, where you wouldn't have to drop the ore in space, it would instantly add to your cargo hold. Some people found out that if you kill a vanilla ship which has a death animation, for example the Osiris, and it died in a mining field, after it died, if you shot the wreck, your cargo hold would be instantly full with the ore that usually drop there.
What? I've
Yeah.
never heard of that.
I've heard of that so many times. Like, weren't you the one that like discovered that or something, Spazzy?
No, I was the one who sort of. It's complicated. I did not exploit it.
Yes, you
No.
did. Come on.
Probably did, but anyway, that's basically what happened. Why the Order players suddenly started popping up in Tau 23, and if you can remember, at some point there was some guy with a Liberty siege cruiser who usually flew around Tau 23 for a while.
Don't.
You know, it's funny. The ICMG tried to get a Liberty siege cruiser quite a few times as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they didn't have tech nerf then, and we thought, well, it's thin and it doesn't have anything jutting off of it.
Yeah,
It'll be
sure.
fine in the asteroids. It'll be great versus those big fat outcast caps.
Well, anyway, the
we
glitch
just
was
went to the tech
fixed,
request thread and we were
so
like,
there
yeah,
is
we'll
no
give,
need
like,
to.
7
There's
for
no
it.
need to actually try
Die!
it. Just saying, it was fixed a long time ago.
Yeah, it was. Lots of shit happened then. I mean, all like the order. I still cannot believe why the order would come. I mean, I didn't know that until now, until Spazzy said that that
Yeah.
kind of bug happened.
That is pretty much the only way I could explain why the Order players would take any interest in Tau 23.
Their excuse that I know was
Yeah,
killing
it was an
outcasts
excuse. I think it was an excuse. I can't. I don't have screenshots. I've never seen people actually do that in Tau 23. But I was aware of that glitch back then, and that is pretty much the only reason why I could see why the Order would go there for any reason. But okay, that's that's a completely different story. So again, what about the Kasari influence? What exactly is wrong with the CR IMG and the actual Kasari Navy? Because a few weeks back, sorry, I went to Tau 23 and I saw a KNF tagged ship trying to provoke the IMG into fighting them. So what the hell is up with
That
that?
seems quite strange.
It's because there was some OORP shit involved between the IMGCR side and the Kusari side. This comes down to the Hogosha base. This is where the Hogosha come in to the Tau stuff. The Hogosha obviously pirate people, and then the KNF doesn't do shit about this because Kusari's fucked up like that. So the most, let's say, the best example I can give was an IMG convoy being raided by the Hogosha in Kyushu. The CR came and shot the Hogosha, and since we had screenshots, the Hogosha couldn't really do shit about it. But after a while, as the CR came into New Tokyo, we fucked up a few Hogosha pilots, and then they bitched about that to the KNF, and then the KNF was like, why are you doing this? Why are you shooting our civilians? And then the IMG got involved there. Yeah, they see them as their civilians.
Yeah, I know. I'm just.
Yeah, there was some pretty close ties between the Kusari government and the Hogosha.
I know.
I actually had a Hogosha character who was considered an honorary KSP officer.
Asshole.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cameron, what the fuck? I just saw you switch your. You having problem?
Are you having problem?
Dude, Gamer, you can switch that back, please.
Right, back to topic now.
Alright, I will, but can I just talk briefly? Can I just mention...
I can't.
how the
I
ICMG
imagine you
took
talking,
two
I imagine
Zephyrs?
that face talking. Sorry, please switch it back.
Alright, I'll change it. Jesus Christ, shut up.
No.
Can I just talk for just 1 second about how...
Ah! What the fuck,
I'm
Irvin?
fucking changing it, Spazzy. Jesus,
What the
chill.
fuck, Irvin?
Wait, let's change it still.
Why? Wow.
Oh, I love that one.
I know, so do I.
Ah.
Okay, but anyway, listen. Just
Yeah.
for 1 second. The ICMG was tired of getting fucked by the Hogosha, so we just took 2 Zephyrs to New Tokyo to shoot the Hogosha.
Good job.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
Yeah, I actually remember that. That was pretty cool. But yeah, so
Anyway,
all that shit happened, and then the Kusari government just started hating IMG a bit. But then the IMG kind of pulled back. They told us CR to not, protect them in Kusari because shit like that happens. But then, yeah, the IMG kind of, just went neutral with Kusari again, started going neutral again with Kusari. The CR declared war on Kusari because fuck Kusari, really. And after that...
I've seen that thread a lot. Wes keeps linking me anytime I mention it.
Oh yeah, because
gets annoyed
CR
about
was
CR.
official. CR was official, and we declared the war. It became a part of the lore, and so it was unchangeable after that, kind of.
Okay, guys, it's slowly getting too long, the video.
Alright, so we covered...
A quick question before we sort of start wrapping this up.
I think we have actually got through all of them, all the factions.
Pretty much, actually. The only question that I still have... guys, for example, smugglers, such as... We're not talking about the Freelancer smugglers, we're actually talking about zoners, junkers, and there was something else. But for example, did those guys sort of ruin the roleplay ties between your factions?
Well, I remember there was one group that sort of
Irvin,
pissed
shut
off...
your mouth, change your avatar, then speak.
Okay,
Barack,
give me a
you're up.
second.
Barack, stop laughing and start talking.
Alright,
avatar changed. I'm gonna speak. Okay, so I remember there was one group of zoners that did really sort of ruin things for zoners and outcasts for a while. It was the... I don't know, maybe you guys have heard of it, Zoners Against Slavery?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I remember that.
Oh my god, no, go away. Summer's like, who's that?
I have no idea. I'm new. I don't know anything
around.
you're speaking about.
They weren't around for that long, just a bit. I have no idea what they really did. I mean, they seem to piss people off a lot. I don't know how.
Yeah, I think they tried to kill every outcast they saw.
With
It
slaves.
was- With slaves, yeah.
slaves.
Oh.
Zoner IDs. It was really weird, but they had like SRP for it or something.
Wow.
Speaking of slaves, we forgot the Slavers Union.
Oh my god.
My first encounter with the Slavers Union.
Anyway,
Alright, so Slavers Union was basically after the BLS and the SOB, kinda just went away. Yeah, it got inactive and all that. The SU came on, the Slavers Union. They just smuggled, nothing else, and they were pretty cool people. I mean, that's pretty much all I know about them, except other than killing them all the time.
And as for like junker smugglers, they never really hurt relations between anyone. There have probably been a few small incidences of like CR or the IMG intercepting some like junker cardamine or slavers.
Oh yeah, the Junkers Congress have always been like really smart about it when smuggling. I think they smuggled,
Except
but
that
they
barge.
smuggled carefully.
except that barge. I remember when I had an Outcast barge and I smuggled cardamine and slaves.
My God,
Through Chow
And a junker
23.
barge
by
with
the way.
cardamine and
get a
Texas.
life.
But that was before the barge nerf.
Oh yeah, the barge nerf. Oh, the barge was already shit. After that, it just became no,
No one's used it for that.
pretty much.
I
It was
still
just-
say the devs should make a mini barge, basically 20,000 cargo. It could fly normal, speeds, but the only thing is that it would not have a thruster and it would not have a cruise engine. So basically, you would be forced to use only,
Jump.
only use trade lanes. So it would be very limited only to factions, which would actually be able to support that sort of ships. Them
be
being
awesome.
the
Awful.
actual, corporations. But I suppose that's going to be another topic. So, shall we wrap this up?
Well, there's nothing much about the Tals left. I mean, we've covered everything. I think.
We got through all the topics too.
So,
All factions.
well,
that
the
we
last
missed.
question here is: are there any, plans for the future?
Well, I guess that's probably where I come in.
Don't flatter
as-
yourself.
As you guys
Typically,
all
I would
know,
want-
that I announced at the beginning, I run an Outcast faction.
Yes,
that's
and you
currently
mentioned
trying
it
to-
about 5 more times, including when we started talking about the SOB and never really got anywhere because you started talking about your faction. So
I
do
love my
tell
group.
more about it.
Alright, so the Kantari Lance is a group of outcasts. There's about 30 of us right now. Well, 30 active players or so.
Fucking
We're currently...
What was that? Was that the N-word?
Anyways, we're currently challenging the 101st for officialdom.
Aye.
We've been a lot more active in the Taos than the 101st have, as anyone who really plays
Well,
there
sorry,
knows.
after the Corsairs barricaded themselves inside of Gamma, Taos are pretty much the only place the outcasts
that
can
was
go.
kind of fucking stupid.
The Taos are the main area that I've seen active. Although I'm in 3 of the main factions in the area, so that might bias things a little.
So
The
yeah,
CL
Irwin,
also has-
basically you don't really have a choice now, do you?
Well, the CL does a few operations in the Sigmas, but yeah, the Taos really are the center of outcast activity at the moment. We do a lot more than just fighting in the Taos, but that's our primary
You should
source of
invade.
activity.
It's where the activity is.
You should
You should
invade.
Gamma. You should invade Gamma a few times.
We have done a gamma raid, actually. I'm
But
thinking
there was
about-
nothing to shoot.
Yeah, there were like.
I
I
two
was there on my
pieces.
gunboat actually. It was about was that the one about 3 weeks ago?
No, it was longer than that.
There was one 3 weeks ago, and we just went there, and there was nothing to shoot.
Gamma's dead, basically.
Yeah, that's because of Rhineland, somewhat, because they don't have Hessians and shit to shoot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the Outcasts and Corsairs did it to themselves. I mean, they just didn't shoot each other because they thought the removal of Ada, the fuck up with Ada, would limit them, but they don't
Aye.
really. It's just stupid. I mean, they can always attack each other easily. What are you guys doing?
Fucking guy!
Oh no, my laugh.
Oh my
Alright,
god! Actually, while we're talking about avatars, dude, Burak, what is yours? Because I look at it like, if I look
know
at
what
it
it is.
from the side, it sort of looks like something from Evangelion.
It's
What is my avatar? I don't know what
it's
my
it's.
avatar is.
I know what it is. It's the guy. It's the logo of the. He's like the mascot.
Oh,
of the band
that.
Disturbed.
Yeah, it's the mascot of the metal band Disturbed.
Oh, okay. It sort of looked
Actually,
like
I haven't
something.
changed that for years, have I?
Yeah, I know. Like if you ever.
Oh
change
no
it,
shit! Irvin,
Like-
Irvin, just look
like,
at
that-
Irvin,
that
just going,
is
no
you,
shit.
Pretty much. Like because of that. That is how I envision all Turks.
Wow.
Alright, so
Shit.
yeah, I think we're done.
I
with
think
the
we're
topics.
Yeah.
Should we give out another ship like last time?
You need to make a star flyer. The name though.
I might have something I can give out. Ooh, I have access to Kai's CR ships. Maybe I can give out one else.
Yeah, give out one of those.
Hey, Burak, who got your
Oh, are
ship,
we
by the
giving
way?
out a ship? Look, here,
I think I got this. No, I didn't get the ship.
I can give out one of Dylan's ships. I still have access to his ships.
Well then,
No, don't
Not
give
a
out
ship.
anyone else's ships.
no, that
You
was
don't
going
need
to
it
be
all
more
the time,
fun.
Come on.
Yo, you can't prove that. Anyways, I probably have like ooh, maybe people are interested in a Brett liner.
Go for it.
Go for it.
hold on, let's
Usual
see.
rules apply.
Actually-
None of us participants of this podcast can claim that ship. Just a reminder.
Yeah, yeah.
Are we just giving out one ship per thing? Because I've got a couple of old ships that I could.
Oh,
put
come on, let's
with
just keep that for the next podcast.
Keep that.
Alright, hold on. I hope I still have this ship.
Also, whoever got the LNS Childish Dreams, please PM me. I have an offer for you.
I
No,
want
that's-
it back.
No, I don't want it back. I'm just gonna make them an off. I don't want it back though.
Alright, I'm about to get rid of like the only source of wealth I have, so here goes. Let's
Just say
see.
I'm just gonna send a
That-
PM to Soul Reaper
Alright.
for no reason whatsoever.
The name of the ship is BES-Empire, and the code is going to be
That's the code.
Pony fucker.
no,
Ah.
no.
Yes, Irwin.
But-
Yes.
I do like ponies, so it's gonna be Princess Cadence. One word.
No. Do it like Royal Plot.
Wait, the BS Empire. Is this somehow the GW Empire?
It used to be Royal Plot. One
Border
word.
World. Oh, you turned it into
All
boys,
right.
didn't you?
Alright, yeah. One word, Royal Plot for the code, and the name is BES-Empire. And by the way, there's no capital letters on Royal Plot.
Yeah. So that's enough for today's Discover Freelancer podcast. Another reminder to our watchers, remember that your contributions to this, be it topics or some sort of feedback, always helps. Because the more feedback we get, we know what to add or what not to add. That, and it just makes our balls feel big. So, thank you for
Ooh,
listening and watching, maybe. Especially when people start switching their avatars. This was Discovery Podcast. See you another day.
I love you guys.
Bye from